And we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Closer Show.
This shit right here is staying right here all year. But
this shouldn't be stressful at all. I want that 2,500 just because he wouldn't give it to me.
G's private stock lead, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Where'd you go?
I'm right here.
There he is.
Hey.
What's going on?
Not much. Just
What's
sunburned. Just all sunburned.
Are you really? Dude, dude, look at my arms. You see my arms?
Oh.
I look like a reptile.
Dude,
Yeah.
aloe vera, bro. I mean, what's going on with you? Aren't you a doctor?
not technically. No. Don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble with the FDA. They already have enough ammo. They're trying to take me down with. I mean, you can only do so much.
Yeah,
you can only do so much when it gets that damaged. I did a 25-mile kayak race.
That would do it.
A challenge.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, no sunscreen or anything like that because
you're a warrior, bro. Who
exactly? There you go. Good point.
Only chumps like me wear sunscreen.
Clearly, it doesn't work that much. It doesn't work that well. It's like the only so much you can do. We haven't seen each other in in a minute. It's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, man. We've been busy. Family time. I was traveling. I traveled to Puerto Rico for like 5 days.
Yeah, I went to the Virgin Islands. And you went to Puerto Rico, and then
yeah, that's right. We were doing island stuff separately.
Yeah, we're doing rich people shit.
Yeah, something like that. And honestly, that's the reason I went to Puerto Rico.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just to meet a couple like.
Oh, that's right. You went for crypto, right? To meet with Corey.
Yeah. That was really eye-opening to see the island filled with Americanos and taking advantage of the tax break.
Right. He was trying to he was trying to convince me when we were at dinner that night to move to Puerto Rico.
It's crazy, dude. I mean, you pay a flat 4% on income.
Flat 4% on income.
That's it. No capital gains tax on crypto. So
do you have to there's no income tax, right, at all?
It's just the 4% on the income.
Oh, total.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's you get
that changed. It used to be zero.
No, I think it did start at zero. But obviously, you got to pay something so that you can pay for the infrastructure of the country. I mean, they're doing a good job at bringing in the money, hoping that these investors would come and fix up the place, because after Maria, it's been pretty difficult for the island.
Oh yeah.
It's been super difficult. I went and there was still like a whole city like abandoned, basically.
You have to have a passport to go there?
No.
You don't?
No, it's a U.S. territory.
Okay, so it's like the same thing with the U.S. Virgin Islands.
This is correct.
Okay.
Now, I asked my wife this question. I said, "Well, what happens if the plane has
takes?" Oh. No.
Well, I was thinking like the plane goes to the Dominican Republic because it has to do some kind of emergency landing there.
Oh, right.
If I get off the plane, I'm now in international waters with no passport.
That's very true. Yeah, I always travel with my passport. I actually never travel with my ID.
Okay.
So
I travel the U.S. with an ID only.
Oh, ID only.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
I'm always afraid I'll lose my ID if I take my ID with me. I'm like, I feel like I can live here without my passport.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, if I lose my passport, it's like not that big of a deal because I can get back into the United States, where I was like, versus if I lose my driver's license, I'm like, oh no, that's because if you live in Miami, like the DMV is it's like the most brutal thing you could ever experience.
Man, you better go in there with like a book, an audible.
You
You
gotta,
gotta
yeah,
get your
take
laptop.
your life away.
That's right.
That's just until when you get inside. It doesn't even matter. You gotta wait outside
Oh,
for
you do
like the
have to wait
first,
outside with an
hour.
appointment. With an appointment.
Yeah, there's no point. There's no point of
Crazy.
an appointment. Yeah.
It's so
Yeah,
crazy. It's so
you
crazy.
have
But
to take
yeah,
that
I
day
mean,
off.
you're right. I mean, traveling with a passport would probably be better than anything
That's just
else.
how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was super easy, man. Like, to the adjustment would be like just dealing with the island stuff, right? Like some resources are limited. Things are not as fast as they would be here. But it's the same type of climate that we're used to, right? Like humidity, mosquitoes. I mean,
Right.
it's same shit, but everything else is easy. Paying for stuff is super duper easy, obviously, because it's US, so everybody has a credit card terminal, and there's no exchange, right, for the dollars because their fiat is US dollar. So
Right.
that was pretty freaking easy. Everybody speak for the most part,
Everybody speaks
like
English.
speaks English. Yeah, you're gonna go to a couple spots where Spanish is definitely needed. And Corey loved that. He's like, man, you should just move out here so we can be best buddies and go everywhere and like that. I don't have to freaking sound like a crazy gringo trying to
But
translate some
Corey
stuff.
speaks Mandarin Chinese, right?
Yes, he's not fluent in it, but he does speak it. Yeah,
That's crazy.
and that's hard.
Yeah, it's not the hardest. There's never one hardest language to learn.
Yeah. So his daughter's gonna know English, Chinese, and Spanish.
I honestly feel like to me, I feel like the Asian languages financially are like if you really want to make a lot of money getting involved, like you can leverage a lot if you know how to speak and travel to the Asian continent, especially
Yep.
right now because there's a lot of acquisitions going on within China and Japan and those countries. So I feel like people don't really, it's like that's a area like most people don't even tap into. It's like that's why I'm learning Japanese.
Yeah,
So
that China market or that Asian market is explosive right now.
well, China's buying everything in the
Everything,
United States.
everything, everything. But that's why they have that. They're trying to pass that new law where if you are not a U.S. citizen, you can't invest in the state of Florida. Is
Oh
what I
wow,
heard.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because
like
I
a
mean,
DeSantis thing or like
yeah, DeSantis,
yeah,
he tightens up
right.
because I mean, they're literally taking over all of it.
Well,
They're
California,
all
like they almost own all of
Yes.
California at this point.
This is
Yeah,
correct. This is correct. So
yeah,
if you think about it like long term, that's pretty scary, right? Because
it is strange. Yeah, because you don't really know who these people are that are buying up all these like huge plots of land and stuff.
what are you gonna do? You're just going to strip them of their property after they bought it legally here in the United States?
Yeah. Well, we saw how that kind of went with the whole Russian thing in Sunny Isles, right?
Yep,
When they were like trying to do that
that's
with
right.
the
The
Russian
sanctions.
oligarchs and so yeah,
They sanctioned them. They block all those accounts, and yeah, that's kind of scary, dude. Like for them to have that much power to just stop your bank accounts and
yeah, because I guess they could do that to anybody technically if they really wanted to. Yeah.
ah, and this is
get the podcast canceled before we really
yeah.
blow
It's
up.
gonna. But my point is,
We
this
just got
is
demonetized real quick.
real fast. So this is why I like crypto for that
Yeah.
very reason right there. But that's a different topic.
Well, that's the question that like I guess that was the conversation that I was having that night with like Corey and the other Corey.
Yeah, the two
Double
quarters.
Corey.
Yeah,
Yeah, two
yeah,
Corys.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so crazy to me that Corey that he's actually that's how we ended up like meeting him again. It was like through crypto.
Yeah.
Because I came out to that crypto dinner. You're like, oh, like Corey Geary's gonna be there. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Corey Geary does crypto?
Yeah,
You're like,
full
yeah,
time.
that's all he does. You're like, that's all he does.
He no longer does real estate.
Yeah, it's just so funny because like I just remember like that's how I got into the whole novation thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. I just spoke with Easy Closing.
Yeah,
out of Tennessee.
right.
Their operation is freaking solid. You know, the transaction coordination.
Are they
I like
transactions
that.
coordinators?
Like the what?
They're transactions coordinators.
Yeah, that's all they do
Okay,
nationwide.
like David
So
Oates.
yeah, David Oates.
Hmm.
So it's a monster operation. So I was speaking to them, and they're like, "You do innovations?" They're like, "Oh yeah, that's right. You know Corey Geary, so
Right, right,
you got all the right paperwork. Everything is
right.
solid. We'll have no problems
Yeah,
working with
I
you."
use his contract. That's who I use. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yes, perfect. I mean,
right.
that's yeah, that contract is solid. And so yeah, I mean, that was a very successful business. The Novation Nation stuff, it's still doing its thing on autopilot because there's a course for it, but he's no longer like mentoring
Right.
because the crypto consumes everything, which is not much, man. I hung out with him, and I think like by I don't know 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, this dude was like going to the beach. So we would ride
Oh,
out to
really?
the beach, hang out for the rest of the afternoon, and just
Did your kids go with you or no?
no, they couldn't go this time. I'll take them next time. Yeah, I'll take them next time. It's very family friendly, to be
Right.
quite honest with you. I
I've heard
I
it's like
had
it's
different
beautiful. Yeah.
expectations. Oh, it's gorgeous. I expected something different because I'm from the islands too. I'm from Dominican Republic, which is the neighboring country,
Right.
and mm, we have a lot of similarities as far as like island culture. But man, was it so different the way people are in Puerto Rico than they are in Dominican Republic. Like Dominican Republic obviously has a much larger population, so obviously when you have a lot of population, you see a lot more poverty, you see a lot more third world country culture. And
Right.
in Puerto Rico, it wasn't like that. Like it was super quiet, which I was shocked. There was not that many people out on the street. I honestly didn't even see homeless people. I think I might have.
Oh,
I can
really?
count with one hand how many homeless people I saw, which
Oh,
was
wow.
yeah, for an island that's very
That's
shocking.
that's big.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Saint John was a nightmare.
yeah. I could imagine. I
Dude,
could
I
imagine.
thought I thought for sure like I thought I was going to like the most tropical destination. I was like, this is gonna be like so like nice. Like everybody was saying like, oh, it's so nice, like whatever. Like, dude, it's like they don't even like luxury is not a concept. Like
Mm,
you can't buy luxury in St. John. Like, it
that's crazy.
doesn't exist really. Even like the most luxurious places, like AC doesn't really exist on the island. Like there is really no like central AC.
Wow,
So like you
wow.
have like just fans everywhere, and then people will have like AC units in
Yeah,
certain rooms,
right, right.
like the little window, like the little things that you hang
Yeah.
and blows AC. But there is no like central air in anywhere like
Right.
restaurants,
Hmm.
nowhere.
Yeah,
So
same thing in Puerto Rico. Those units are
yeah,
powerful though. Like those
they
rooms,
are. Yeah, they are. Yeah,
but it's
but
not central. Definitely not central. There was definitely a lot of luxury in Puerto Rico. There was a lot of luxury.
I've heard there is like some really very luxurious resorts
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico, but I kind of wish I would have went to the Bahamas. I would've went-
Which island in the Bahamas?
I like Nassau actually.
Okay.
Like I like going there. So because I like going to the Atlantis.
Ah,
That's
yes, yes,
so
yes.
that's that to me is like I don't know. I think I'm actually gonna go. I'm considering actually going next month. Um, I think I might go and just could take like 4 days, 3 or 4 days, and go down there and hang out for a weekend. Um,
I would make a recommendation if you haven't been to Bimini.
yeah, I would like to go. The thing is for me is like it's kind of hard for me to go to those places now because I like to dive. Like I would like to dive. and I can't dive anymore because I've blown both of my eardrums consecutive times. So yeah. If I really if I want to continue to keep hearing it, like I already still have, like I definitely, like the last time that I blew my left eardrum, like it really hasn't like fully healed, I would say, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, it's just not ideal for me to go, but I would definitely be like, it would be hard for me to see, because I would like to go see, I would really like to go and dive the Bimini Road.
Yeah.
And that's, it'd be difficult for me to like go out there, like go to the boat and just like look at it from like the surface.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's like,
and you don't look like the snorkeling type either.
No, yeah, no, I'm not really like I'm really not a snorkel guy. No, well, I think like once you dive for the first time, like you're ruined for the rest of your life.
That's it,
like, because you're like down there swimming with the actual wildlife and stuff.
Right.
It's just a whole different experience. But diving's definitely not for everybody, for sure. Like it's a whole other skill set, So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I love the water. I'm just not like a diver or anything like that. I much rather do water sports,
right,
than diving and doing that stuff. It's more my vibe.
Like kayaking, like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, or just yachting. So if you ever.
Is that it's a rich people sport?
It's a rich people sport, right?
Rich people sport. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Like water sports. Yeah.
Like water sports. Yeah, I like yachting. Yeah.
I like the thing, but you know what? Though I like always want to learn how to sail. Like I was like really wanted to get into sailing for a while, and I was taking sailing lessons when I lived in Tampa. And I was taking sailing lessons down in Sarasota on the weekends. And then I moved, and then I quit. And I didn't really.
I met a captain last year. That's what he does here in Fort Lauderdale. Actually,
he trains people in sailing.
Yeah, he takes them out on his sailboat.
It's so cool. Like it's like if you really know how to sail, like that's one of the most like. I would say it's probably, and I don't really know this because I've never flown a plane or a helicopter or anything, but I would say it's very, very, very similar to the whole, like as close as you're going to get to that aspect of where you could like just take the wind and just, go.
Yeah, that is actually pretty freaking cool. Yeah.
If you can learn how to sail a sailboat, it's like one of the most like coolest experiences, because like obviously would like go with like other people who are like really good at it. And it's like it's a whole different experience when you sail versus like when you're just driving a boat and like the motor's taking you. It's like it's a whole different feeling. You know what I mean? Especially when you feel like you're controlling the wind.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's the control thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Once you have that, you're like, yeah, all right, this mother effer.
What's real estate like in Puerto Rico right now?
Oh man,
out of control right now.
So
like
it's out of control pricing.
Oh, really?
Out of control pricing. So if you want like luxury, an apartment in specific, cities like Condado, it's gonna be like $10-15 million. Just stupid.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you go beach life and you go to the luxury side of the island, which is Dorado, that's where Corey's staying. You can find a couple for like $1.5 to $2 million, but then they go up from there. Like, and now we're not talking about any mega mansions or anything like that. You're looking at for 1.5 mil. I think it's like somewhere around maybe 4,000 square feet.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
it's like Miami prices.
Worse. I would say.
Yeah, probably
worse because remember, at least here we have.
At least you're in the United States, I guess.
When you're you're inland, you're in the United States. You have Central AC. Even at 5, you still have like units. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it's
a lot of like Airbnbs and stuff.
Beautiful. Right? What?
A lot of Airbnb business there, though, right?
Oh, yeah. If you can deck it out, yes. problem with the island, because I did meet a realtor out there while I was out there. Guy does crypto too, so it's like a full community of like,
Wow.
yeah. And so the dude is one of the top agents for that region of Puerto Rico. And he says that a lot of people that go out there and they want to flip properties, because man, the amount of distressed homes is in every kilometer, basically. There's a ton of distress. But the problem is that in order to flip it, you need to have a lot of liquid cash. It won't be loans, because obviously municipality is extremely slow with permitting, and then materials are scarce because they have to come on a
To
ship.
ship it in. Yeah.
Yeah, and so by the time that it gets there, get permits, you're in a project for like a year and a half to 2 years before it's done. So holding costs is ridiculous, and then you have market volatility as well. You can suffer a hurricane. I mean, just I want to say a couple days ago they had a tornado, right? I mean,
Oh,
shit
really?
was flying everywhere, so it can get kind of violent. You know what I mean? So your investment has to be really secured. You have to have like either some backing. You should know somebody at the municipalities, because
Right.
that's just the way the culture is. You got to know, it's about what you know, not what. But I'm sorry, who you know, not what you know.
Right. Do
Yeah.
you what is because I think a lot of people are doing the like the shipping container things
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
That's a
know?
cool.
Do you know Will? Do you know Will? I can't think of his last name. I pull it. Up. But I'll find his last name. But he does like he's kind of into crypto, and um, I don't really know if he like. I don't know if he was like doing like
Stuff.
the NFT thing. But he's like a big like Airbnb guy. He lives here in Miami. He's Dominican.
Okay. Yeah, maybe if I see him,
I
if
don't
I
know why
see
I
him,
said that. I don't know why I said that. Like thinking that if
yeah, yeah,
he's
of course you know
Dominican.
him. We only have a population of like fucking 3 million people on the
I'm
island. Bro.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hilarious. You gotta know him. Only 3 million.
I'm like, he's Dominican. Come on, man.
That's funny.
I
If
don't.
you
Yeah, I don't.
if you
I
tag
don't
me on a thing, I'll probably but it doesn't ring a bell. He does a lot of Airbnbs over there.
Yeah, but he does a lot of Airbnb stuff here too.
Oh, okay.
But he also does a lot of. I'll send you his profile. Like you'll probably because he doesn't have his last name in his
The
Instagram, but like
the big real estate moves in Puerto Rico is hotels, because the government gives you a 40% incentive.
Oh right, yeah.
So that's huge, because I mean, if you get a building, right, and the cost of purchase, rehab, you get that tax break of 40%.
No,
Which is huge, because
that is huge.
Yeah. So that's why Jerry's out there.
I think like him and his partner are like building a hotel right now in Costa Rica. They do a lot of stuff in Costa Rica too.
Oh, that's dope.
Like, yeah. Do you know some guy? You know a guy named Brian? Brian. He's an insurance adjuster.
No. Out of where?
Out of here. He lives in Miami. He lives in
for real?
Edgewater. Yeah. He's like a big like insurance adjuster. A lot of people like in properties and stuff like know Brian. I don't know Brian's last name either, but that's Will's partner.
Oh, okay.
So they do like Will like I think like partnered up with him, and I could be like talking out of my ass on this. Like I have no idea if I'm 100% right on this details or not. So, like with Will, if you're watching this dude, and I'm completely talking out of left field, like feel free to call me out. But like, no, like Will's a cool guy, but he works with him and this guy Brian, they do insurance adjusting. And then they started getting into the Airbnb business. And then he was showing me a shipping container thing like back in like earlier this year. Like they put a shipping container behind one of their Airbnb homes over like in Miami Shores area, like back in like North Miami Beach, like behind Miami Shores. There's like a neighborhood next to the There's like a little community college or something back there, I want to say.
Could it be by if it's Miami Shores, it's probably close to Barry University.
Barry University. That's it.
Yeah.
That's not a community college, right?
No, it's not. Yes, it's private college. It's a private college. Yeah. Hey, shout out to all my Barry University.
Shout out to Barry University. The community college. I'm sorry. I'm just like, I'm absolutely just like slaughtering myself in this episode.
The whole thing. I got your back though. Barry University.
Barry University. It's like it's literally right next to the campus. Yeah.
It's not shocking. I'm not sure if they got away with making it into an in-law suite, right? If you have enough setback, then you can build an additional living unit back there, not a problem. And then the fact that it's a container has nothing to do with the construction. Like theoretically, you don't need a permit to put a container home. Yeah, because they don't care if you use concrete, wood, or tin, right? To build, as long as it's all up to code, it's all good. You need impact windows, you need your doors, you need obviously for it to be leveled. And so normally they put those things on like it's not a concrete slab, it's more so like this big post that goes all the way down, so you have like 4 pillars. And so that's probably the biggest expense is what do they call it? I want to say it's excavating, but I think that's the wrong terminology for it. But it's basically just making a hole in the ground and do like 4 or 5 posts. And you dig deep. Yeah, you drill it all the way down, and then you basically have a hurricane-proof unit. The siding, you can also put concrete throughout the whole side, and you will never know that it's a container home. Or if you want the container look, then you just leave the container the way it is.
It was just interesting because like he said, like he was like, we're gonna like create this as a whole separate rental outside of the house. Like we're gonna create a separate entrance into the back. And he showed me, and he was like, and like honestly, like going inside the shipping container thing is like very nice, but they're building like a again, like I don't know if this is like I don't have this 100% right, but like in Costa Rica, they're building like a shipping container hotel area.
Yeah, because you can stack them.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, no, but they're like creating like a little like resort space, like so. It's kind of like like when you go to like the Maldives. Yeah, how you like go and it's like you stay in all like separate
and you just
huts,
have your own
it's
separate.
It's like the resort,
container.
but it's like you basically have like your own little separate hut. Like this, you have your own separate little container, but it's like a bunch of other little containers, like kind of.
So instead of a tiki, you got yourself a container.
Yeah, shipping container.
Yeah, that works. I like it. That's
sure, it's cheaper. Yeah.
I think you can get those containers somewhere around $4,000 to $5,000, something like that.
Yeah, I think he said like for everything, like if you want to hook up, like to have them hook up, like to do like the interior like design of like putting in like a little stove and like a sink and to attach all the plumbing and everything. I think he said you end up spending a total of around $20,000, $20,000 to $25,000, something like that.
That's super cheap.
I think, yeah.
That's super cheap. I thought it would be more. I thought that because you're just using the frame more so, right? Like theoretically speaking, you get away with not having to do a roof, right? So there's some savings there. You do have to do the cutout for the windows and doors, so there is some welding cost there. But I still thought it would be at least $150 a square foot.
Well, I guess it probably depends on how big it is. But this one, like he was showing,
how many containers?
They're relatively small. You know what I mean? Like so, I think like it's like he said somewhere around like 20. I want to say like 20 to 30,000 a container. Like this company will come in, bring it like for 20 to 30 grand. They'll come in, bring in the container, and then they'll also hook up the plumbing line, and they'll also hook up the there's a little like AC unit thing they put on the outside, and it just blows in to the unit like a regular like AC unit. You can control it from the inside.
Could be very similar to those window units in the islands.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I think it's actually a really good investment if you have like especially if you have like a piece of land down here. I feel like where you buy like a decent piece of land and then you just put like a bunch of shipping container homes. He said they're like renting out. You can rent them out for like $600 to $800 a month, like on a long-term lease.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, definitely the ROI on that is very high, and they're lower maintenance because you don't have to do the roof and any of that stuff, right? Getting insurance, I don't know. I think getting insurance is the same as any other unit.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure,
Well,
but
people in Miami they'll live in anything.
They don't care. I mean, think about it. Think about it. How many times haven't you done a search, a Google search on a property in Hialeah, and they have about 6 or 7 roofs?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're literally living in shacks. These things are
400 square foot.
Bro, these things are not permitted, right?
Right.
Probably unsafe structure.
Oh,
all the way, right? Because they're just taking like Elmer's glue and they're putting shit together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And so, and these people live in these things. Half the time, the plumbing doesn't work right. You got the exposed electrical. Like, really, bro? Yeah. So,
if a chicken lands on the wrong part,
forget it. Fried. They got fried chicken. They got free fried chicken. Maybe that's why they leave the exposed wires.
There's a lot of chickens in Hialeah running around. That's another thing about like St. John to notice there was a lot of wild chickens. They had a lot of wild chickens there. Yeah.
Got to get that fried chicken, boy. Telling you, crazy. But I think it's a phenomenal idea. I went to Naples and Marco Island this weekend, and driving through, I drove through this place called Ave Maria, which is in between like Broward County and Naples. And that city is pretty cool. It's a planned city, but man, is there land, dude. Like there's just so much space in Florida to do a lot of those type of ideas. It's insane. So those communities are big. Like last spring, I went to like, it was close to like Lakeland-ish area. It was a glamping camping site. And they gave you those options. Those options were like they build like a luxury tiki with AC in it, like the same AC unit with a microwave and whatever. That was super cool. And then they would have like you can go actual camping as well. Like so, you bring your own tent. You can be in your RV, or you can go and have a cabin, right? And so those type of ideas are great because if you did get a whole bunch of containers and you can have a community for camping or glamping or whatever, like let's just say it's close to the beach and that's just a rental community for that and a cool like container style setup, those things will rent out like no other, right? It's just makes sense.
I really don't.
Because construction right now is expensive, dude. Like, it's like $300, $350 a square foot, $300 to $350 a square foot to build a regular house. So how do you build more?
It's kind of scary, like when you think about like how like we're literally like in Miami, like you see it like just like literally just like there's like running out of room to build stuff.
Right.
Have you seen you have Apple TV?
Yes.
You watch the show the Foundation?
No, but I'm gonna write it down.
Science fiction show. It's like based on a book series. Like it's like a very extensive book series, but in the show, like they're like several hundred years, like several thousand years in the future. But it's like gotten to the point where like I think like on like one of their planets, like on the main planet. Where the government was located, like the idea of that space is like they literally ran out of room, like entirely on all the land surface to build anything like added. So they just started like going, like the idea was like they started just going down, and then they just started building down into the into the surface, and then like literally they would be like like 50 stories down into the surface, and like that's where all like the poor people live. Like obviously the richer you are, like the higher that you were able to afford to live on the surface. But like the less that you could afford, you had to go down farther into the surface. So they would project the sky. They would like project images of a sky down in like the bottom to like try to give them like, this false idea that they're still living like, close to the surface because they can't see.
That's wild. I'm gonna have to catch that. That sounds very interesting. But I don't think that's too far fetched though.
I don't know. Because, I don't think it is. That's why I was bringing it up. Yeah.
I don't think it's too far fetched. I mean, here in Florida, it's kind of hard because you can't go too far down.
You drown. You drown. Yeah.
But in upstate, that's what they do. New York, even whatever. As soon as you get to Georgia, all the way up, that's what you do. You build out your basement, right, as an additional unit.
That's what they were doing in London, right? For a while, they were like, that's why like the prices of the homes in London, like these homes, like in London, were going like they're like some of these homes are like 6,000-7,000 square feet, but you go and see it on the street, and it looks like this little tiny house. But it's because the zoning like wouldn't allow them to build up or build out.
Right.
So like these people just started building down into the ground, and I remember they said it was like starting to cause issues with like the structure. You know what I mean? Like underneath other people's homes.
Of course.
Because they're like building out and these people have like massive basements. Like their basements are like 2,000-3,000 square feet.
Right.
And they're like putting like swimming pools and stuff down there. It's crazy. There's a show on YouTube that you can look up about it, and it's like it shows you like they go into these people's homes and like they take an elevator and they go like they have like 2 floors. Like their basement has like 2 floors. Like it's like one level and they go down another level.
That's wild. That's wild.
That doesn't.
That is so wild. That doesn't even sound safe. Like I
feel like you're living in a bunker.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But now, like, I think that if for example, like in Miami, if the city would open up to the idea of, which obviously people have been doing it illegally for a long time, but to allow like tiny homes or to have the I think they call it an AUD, right? So you just add an additional living unit, either on top of if you have a detached garage or if you have enough space and enough backyard to build maybe in-law suites or additional units. I think that will help alleviate a lot of congestion or give you a little bit more space for bigger families, right? So like if you live in a 2-2 and you want to go ahead and sell your property and you can't really afford, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people that cannot afford to go buy a 4-bedroom house. But spending additional maybe $100K or less, 50 if you buy one of those tiny homes, gives you that extra bedroom bathroom that you need. So that kind of solves that issue.
I feel like that's I could see them in New York starting to do more like underground stuff eventually. I'm sure there's people that are already like secretly doing it.
Probably.
But I also do feel like too, like you go too far underneath the ground in New York, like you're gonna find stuff that you don't want to find.
That's right. That's right. A lot of stuff you don't want to find.
Yeah. It's like there's a lot of history there. It's like you're gonna start to find out what the city was built on. Yeah.
I don't think that bedrock is all that sturdy.
Yeah, I don't think it's bedrock. Yeah, I think you're gonna find more skulls. And bones down there. Do you do deals in New York ever?
No, I've never done a deal in New York.
Really?
New York is
it's an attorney state.
Yeah, and so both parties have to have their own representatives, and it just gets sticky, man. Like it's so much chest pumping that it's it's not worth it.
I don't like doing it. I did a deal in Buffalo.
Okay, well, that's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's still New York.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do one in the city. There's just no way.
I've done one in almost every attorney state, at least one, but it is difficult. It's different. But I was having somebody asked me a question actually about if I do deals, if I've ever done a deal in New York. And I was like, yeah, one time. And they were like, what do you do if it's like an attorney state, like what's the difference? And I'm like, it's like you said, it's just that you just have to get an attorney to represent, both parties in the transaction. The problem is like being if you're going to be the wholesaler in this situation, that's where it kind of gets like, it's easy if you're not dealing with somebody that really understands. It's really be easy for them to push you out of the transaction.
Yeah, it's definitely requires, and I would say a very high probability that you have to double close on those deals, right? And so like that, you can get the seller out of the way, right? And that attorney that's going to give you a hard time. They're going to give you a hard time about wholesaling or making an assignment fee and all that sort of stuff. They don't really practice that, and so you would have to account for the fee of either holding it for the 30 days, or if you're going to do a double close and close, transactional funding, you got to account for that. So there will be fees, and the transaction is going to be a little bit longer, less smooth than your typical non-attorney state.
I would just say I always just tell people, I'm like, just make sure it's worth it, right? If it's a deal that's absolutely worth it, then it makes sense.
Of course.
It's like if it's not, then just don't even really worry about
it. I probably wouldn't do a deal in New York unless it was a 6-figure deal, like a solid 6-figure deal, not 99,000. It's got to be literally over 100K. Yeah.
I've done deals in I've done a deal in Connecticut. That was a good deal, but it was like 30, 35. They made 35 total off of it, which is not bad.
Yeah, but people in Connecticut are different. New Yorkers are just, and I can talk about my own people, man. New Yorkers is so. It's like you literally need to be an orthodontist, bro. Like you're pulling teeth the whole time.
Yeah, that's very
it's
true.
A massive amount of attitude, massive amount of chest pumping, just like everybody knows everything. Everybody's a gangster. Everybody is
Everybody's a gangster,
they just come at you all the time, just honestly on some pompous shit.
A lot of hustle culture in New York City.
Super, yeah. Hey, if you're not gonna put $1 million up there, don't even bother, man.
The lip smacking. The lip smacking is really why do you guys all move down here for?
I don't know.
Why do you guys always want to move to the place where it's the most mellow in the United States?
Right, the most mellow,
and you want to tear shit up.
Yeah. And they figure they could take everybody for a ride.
I feel like you go down to Brickell, you go down to Brickell, and people are you get so many New Yorkers down there and moving into Brickell now in Miami. It's just like people now just hitting you in the shoulder, just moving on. You know what I mean? They're just they think they're in little New York City.
Right, excuse me, I'm sorry, good morning, you just gonna violate me like that, Yeah. So I rather not, dude. I just stay away from those kind of states. There's two that I avoid. I normally avoid non-disclosure states and attorney states.
Oh, really? So you wouldn't do a deal in Kansas or anything?
No. First of all, think about a deal in Kansas. What the hell are these houses worth over there?
I don't know. We've done some deals in Missouri, Kansas City.
In Missouri?
Yeah, Kansas City.
What was the ARV?
Like 165, 150.
I guess you can pop off 20 grand on something like that.
There's a lot of people buying. There's a lot of people buying in those Midwest areas. You do have to it's smaller. You're gonna get smaller transactions. You're not gonna get you're not gonna pop off big tickets on those for sure.
And that's why I don't go there.
That's fair, I guess.
Because what I tell people is this: whether you do okay, let me see how I put this. No matter the transaction that you're gonna do, especially if you're wholesaling, the length of that deal is gonna be pretty much the same. It's gonna be at best, everything is just going your way, 20 days. Everything just lines so perfectly, 20 days. The reality, it's a 45-day process. No matter what kind of wholesale deal you're doing, or double close or buying the stupid property, it's taking you somewhere between 30 and 45 days. So
Right.
I'm still going to deal with the same emotions with these homeowners because, obviously there's a reason why they're distressed. So therefore, if I'm going to deal with the same emotions, the same ups and downs, the same stuff with title, the same stuff with buyers, and kind of juggling that whole juggling act, then I want to go somewhere where I know that I can make 20,000 plus on each transaction. I'm not going to go do it for $5,000 because the smaller deals are even worse than the bigger deals.
That's
I was just having
true.
a conversation with one of my clients because he's looking to scale his business and I'm helping him to do so. And he's like, "Man, I'm dying to pop off a six-figure deal." And I'm like, "I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, they don't come every single month, and maybe you'll just do like one a year. But I'll tell you that from experience, because I've done plenty of six-figure deals, they're the easiest ones to do.
Yeah.
They're the easiest ones to do. You don't have buyers crying, you don't have sellers crying. Typically, title can be a little funky, but if you have the right title company, everything will get done. The assignments will get paid. They happen in a quicker fashion. I don't know what it is, but those deals are so sweet and so much easier versus doing a $5,000 to $10,000 deal where everyone's crying,
Yeah.
penny pitching at everything. What do you mean $500 for title fees? Like, well, I thought you guys had a good deal. The seller, oh, I thought you were going to give me $20 for cutting the grass. I'm like, bro, are we seriously arguing about $20? Like, I'm here just trying to make a quick 10 pop and walk away. Like,
I've had I guess I've like had it both ways. We did close a very large deal this past month. It was like very on the verge of six figures, um, but I would say that the person that gave us the most shit was the buyer, and he was kind of like he was supposed to sign on one day, and he was like, "Oh, I can't. I'm going to go play golf." That day. It's like, well, I mean, can you sign on your phone? Like,
right.
like, I mean, you can sign anywhere, dude. Come on. Like, he's like, oh yeah, it'd have to be on Monday, like the following Monday. And I was like, all right, and then I remember like he called me one day and it was extremely inappropriate because he knew that we had a higher offer on the table. And that like because I had kind of like through that after he had already signed, we found out that we ended up having a higher offer.
Yes.
So I called him up and I was like, hey man, like you need to come up or we need to get with this. It's like, I was gonna cancel our contract. He like flipped out, like lost his shit. He was like, I'll always sue you, I'll take you to court. You know what I mean? Like you don't even know what you're doing, you don't know who you're messing with.
Right.
And I was like, all right, whatever. Like you want to play like, cowboy. And then he like started to make a whole deal about it during the whole but the seller, you're right. The seller was probably the easiest seller that I've ever dealt with in my entire life. But yeah, I mean, I can't remember like he was like, I think he was like kind of starting to string us along. And then I guess he found out what we had it for before it ever even got to closing. Yeah. And then he was like, yeah, like I would do anything. Like I would die to get a bigger piece of like a bigger piece of like what you guys got it for. Like that would be great. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't.
Yeah, you did it right. Exactly.
Yeah, you didn't. So, it's our deal. Like, and it was literally like we were literally getting it, dude. Like it was crazy. We were getting this house like pocket change. So the whole thing for him is I was just like, if this guy like screws around at all, like we're closing on it 100%, and then we'll just double close
deals like that.
We'll sandbag it.
And deals like that, the money's always available for deals like that. Money's always available.
Yeah,
the buyers are always available as well. That's why like I don't like doing those skinny deals because it's like you're doing the deal more so because it's so skinny and you finally found one freaking buyer that's willing to take it. And so you're like basically catering to all parties. Everybody's on their P's and Q's, not saying that you shouldn't be, but it's just like you're ultra high strung, hoping that it never falls apart for the $10,000, right? Or $5,000, whatever the smaller number is. Yeah. Versus a bigger deal, it's like, well, if this guy falls apart, I'll close on it myself. I have a line of buyers that will go ahead and pick up from where I left off. It's not a big deal because it's a big deal. Like you have a big spread. And so that's why, doing concentrating on those type of deals is much better than doing these little tiny stuff. Now, buyers are weird, dude. Like I even have, like, I guess, personal VIP buyers that I still treat them the same exact way as any other buyer. I never show them what my assignment fee is. Never, ever, never. They won't find out until the day of closing.
Right. Sure.
Just because, they'll tell me, like, bro, we've been doing deals together for a long time, blah, blah, blah. I know you make big rips, but why is it that you always have to, why do you have to always cross out your purchase price? I'm like, because that's part of our policy. The company policy is
the company policy.
It is. Yeah. But who made the company policy? I don't know. The company. We'll make the rules here, man. Yeah, because it doesn't matter. Look, there have been a lot of opportunities where I've made a 6-figure deal, right? And then the rehabber would probably make a 5-figure, right? After they rehabbed it for 6 months and gone through all the pain and whatever. So they see that there's just no way in God's green earth that they're not going to feel a certain type of way.
So I'm closing a deal with a guy that I've known personally he's known me for like a long time, like since I was like young, and he's like, and I helped him recently sell both of his properties that he was trying to get rid of, and like we're getting rid of both of them this month, and I just got the other one sold today, and so he calls me up, and this morning, and we were talking, and he's just like, yeah, so like I was just like wondering, like, how do I get my money? And I was like, the title company wires you the money. He's like, yeah, I just never had a transaction done this way before. And I was like, trust me, like, this is the safest way to do a transaction. And then he's like, and then he like reads my company name on the agreement. He's like, who's this company? And I was like, that's my company. He's like, so you're buying the property? And I was like, no. I was like, we're assigning the rights over to the other person. I was like, but what gives you an added protection, I said, is the fact that my company is taking the responsibility of the purchase. I was like, so therefore, if anything goes wrong with the buyer, then we're held liable to make sure that we go through with the transaction with you. So like, so not necessarily as like, this is a better way for you to make sure that everything's going on. So because I'm, my company is personally, negating the liability for you straight to the buyer, versus like if the buyer just backs out on you, you're kind of just dead in the water. That's versus right. Like I was like, we're making it a personal guarantee that this thing's going to close if we have our company signature on there. And he was like, I see. He's like, so this is all on the up and up then, I'm guessing. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I was like, dude, like we do, and I was like telling him how many deals that we do a month. And he was like, how many properties you close in a month? And I was like, I said it again. And he's like, man, he's like, you must be making a whole lot of money off of this thing, I would assume then, right? And I was like, well, damn, dude, I fucking hope so.
I mean, shit.
That's the whole point. I was like, yeah, thank God I am. Yeah, of course. I was like, I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, it just like blew my mind though, because it wasn't really like, he wasn't really saying it in like a positive way. He was kind of like, when someone's like, kind of like, it kind of caught me off guard, because I was like, you've seen me like work hard ever since I was a little kid. I was like, so you should, at least like, be like, well, man, that's good for you. I'm happy for you. But he wasn't like, it wasn't really saying it like that. He was like,
yeah, I mean, look, people are funny when it comes to money, dude. Like, that's why I just don't. I do the company policy thing just to separate me from everything else, right? Because it's just like they're gonna feel a certain type of way every single time that you want to. They're okay with you making money as long as it's baby money. If you make baby money, it's not a big deal. They're like, oh, it's a couple grand, fine. Once you start seeing double digits or 6 figures, now it's like, oh, wait, what? And they start feeling a certain type of way, but they don't understand like the processes that we go through with marketing, title companies, more marketing to find buyers, to deal with the buyers, things that fall apart that we are picking up, things that we have to fix in the middle, babysitting the entire operation. And then on top of that, obviously creating a freaking business, a profitable business. God forbid you make a freaking margin. God. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like people like tell me now, like with the health business, they're like oh, like you guys are doing that. How much you guys charge? So how much you guys charge for this? I'm like, oh, it's such and such a month. They're like damn, like you guys must be making a whole lot of money off that. I'm like, well, I fucking hope so. Like, do you know how much like we pay out in like regulation fees and like everything else? Like, I mean, it just sometimes it blows my mind. It was like it's kind of like when Jordan Peterson was being interviewed by this guy one time in an interview, and he was asking him. He was like, so how much money are you making from all this stuff? And like Jordan basically like just gives it to him like very straight. He's like, I'm making like $500,000 like for every fee that I get for this, and then I'm making like a couple $100,000 a month from this venture over here. And he like kind of goes on and on. And he was like, wow. He's like, so one could say that you're making a considerable amount of money off of this. And he was like, as I should be. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, and there's a lot of other people that are benefiting and make a whole lot of money off this too. He's like, you're benefiting off of my success because you're sitting here down here interviewing me.
Exactly, because if I wasn't making money, you would never want to know about me or interview.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like it's like people like try to take that as like there's something wrong with you like making money, and it's like I want to tell people like there's nothing, like don't ever let somebody like try to like like shoot that down. I was just like when he asked me that, I was just like, yeah, man, like I mean that's the whole goal. Like I was supposed to be making a lot of money off of this.
Yes. Next time,
I was like, you missed all the years that I like couldn't afford to like pay my bills. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have a conversation. We weren't having this conversation.
I can make a lot less money and you just take care of me.
Yeah. You just want to send me a check every day, every year, every month in the mail.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I don't have to make this much money if that's okay with you.
But he's talking like he said it like as if I'm like taking advantage of people trying to sell their properties. I'm like, dude, like you would have never sold these properties if you had never came to me and asked me to like see what I could do with them.
This is correct.
But it's like once he found out like how many deals that we do transaction wise a month, he was like, oh wow. He's like, so you're making quite a bit of money off this business then. I was like, well, I mean, yeah, dude, like I fucking hope so, dude. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be a mediocre businessman here. You know what I mean? Like
I was like, we make a lot of money because he's a customer at our restaurant too. Like that's how we know each other. That's how he's known me for a long time. So I was like, you come in there, you come in the restaurant, spend money there. I was like, trust me, like, there's a lot more customers. Like they're making a whole lot of money at that restaurant. We're making a whole lot of money at that restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's never came in the restaurant and been like, oh man, you guys are packed tonight. You guys must be making a whole lot of money tonight. It's like, fuck yeah, we are. Like we hope so. Yeah.
I think that folks see the business that we're in, and they just don't believe that so many folks would sell property for under market value.
Yeah,
it's probably one of those things that happens in their minds. Like, why would anybody sell you a property for under market value? How is it that you're able to even acquire these properties at such discounts? Is it a foreclosure? Like that's the first thing that anybody ever asked me. Oh, so you buy foreclosure properties? It's the only way they know that, it's the only way that they figure that you can get something cheap, because the bank is now, what's it called? They are selling for pennies on the dollar just to take care of the debt, right? To make whole in the debt. I think that's the only process that people that are not in the industry see as to why anybody would sell property for under market value. They don't think that, or you guys are just wolves and you're, blowing everybody's house away.
I remember like I was having a conversation with a realtor friend of mine from back home, and like, she's been in the realty business for a long time, and she just like I've tried to explain to her, like she's asked me several times. She's like, so I really don't understand, like, what is it that you actually do? And I tried to explain to her like several times, like what my company does. And she's just like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like I still just don't get it. And I'm like, what do you not understand? like I'm so confused. I'm like, do you know what an assignment is? And she's like,
no.
Yeah. She's like, I know what an assignment. I was like, so
they don't.
I think it's no problem.
She just said yes. Because you know why? You know why? Because I just literally sold a deal 2.5 weeks ago where the lady's like, I've been in real estate for 30 years. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I told her, all right, so so I told her, so if you go to the disclosure where it says assignability, do you understand that there's 3 options there? She's like, yeah, we always click on may not assign. I'm like, so we do the opposite. We click on assign. And she's like, what is that? And I'm like, well, I'm surprised with 30 years of experience that you're clicking on may not assign and you don't really know why the hell you're clicking on may not assign.
Right. They don't know.
They're told, right, by the board that this is how you fill out this paperwork. You know that most, I don't know if you know this, but I can't make assumptions anymore. Did you know that on the financing option, and most realtors do not know this, but there is a section for subject to and for owner finance.
I didn't know.
So it says cash.
Right.
It says and then it says financing. It will say conventional, FHA, VA, or other. And then right underneath there, it have subject to existing mortgage. And underneath that will say owner finance. And then it'll ask you what percentage down and what interest rate. It's on
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
actual farm contracts.
I actually
Pretty
didn't
much
know that.
all of the United States of America. But people only do the first 2 options, either option A, cash, or option B, conventional VA, FHA, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But those things already exist because these transactions happen every single day. But because you are trained a certain specific way, you're not even curious about the other options that are available. And so most realtors, when you come to them about assignments, when you come to them about owner finance, when you come to them about creative financing, such as subject to,
right,
it takes them for a loop because they've never been trained on that. They don't really know how that actually works. So automatically what they will say is, oh, my client will not be interested in that.
Yeah, which they don't really understand is like that is technically against ethics if you don't present all offers over to your client, which a lot of them don't.
They don't.
Yeah, we just had a conversation about that. Like my friend Matt, who lives in Chicago, was trying to get this deal done, and with a seller, and the agent was just like not picking up their phone, and because he like presented, and I'm assuming it's because he's not the only one, but he like basically was like, let me take this over, subject to the existing mortgage. She's like, oh no, like we're not going to do that, and
we didn't do that.
Like kind of like, and then attacked him like ethically and said like, if you continue to if you approach my client with this offer, I will contact the bar and have your license removed. Like threatened him, and hung up the phone on him and then blocked his number.
Well, that's one of the reasons I never got my
crazy
license.
Though.
It is crazy. You should present the option. Number one, I don't carry a license because of that, right? Because I don't need people to tell me like how I cannot do business.
Right.
Which is totally fine. If you're doing everything above board, you don't have anything to worry about as far as having a license. But I would have loved for that lady to tell me I'm gonna call the board and be like, all right, and they're gonna do what exactly? Because my company policy states.
Yeah, my company policy states. Yeah.
But secondly, I think that they do miss a ginormous opportunity. Like I had that happen 2 months ago where I almost got the agent to work with me there because the property had been on the market for like 76 days and no freaking buyers. The buyers that did come to the table, they would be offering like over $100,000 less than listing, but he had a mortgage that he had to satisfy. Plus, he had to pay the ex-wife a percentage of whatever proceeds. So it wouldn't leave him with much. So I'm like, well, I got the perfect solution. I would buy it at your asking price, but I'm taking over this loan, right? Like that's the only way that I can see this financially making sense for all parties involved. So with that deal, I will go ahead and make sure that the agent is taken care of. I'll make sure that the amount of equity that you're looking for is obviously paid out at the time of closing, but I do need to continue with your existing mortgage payments. And like that, we create a win-win solution. If not, we don't have to do any of that, but then my offer is going to be $100,000 less. And I know that's not going to work for you. So we almost got there, and then the agent I talked to my broker and blah, 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 and they weren't comfortable. And then I told the seller, and the seller's just not comfortable anymore. And guess what? Today, still the property's on the market. Can't find the buyer.
You know what's funny is like I always think it's so funny when like especially like people from like back home, like the agent game is different. The agent game is kind of like the same all the way around, but like a lot of agents just don't really know the real estate game like they think they do. And it's like definitely the older agents that have done some deals, you know what I mean? Like they think because they've closed some transactions, they're like, oh, I know my shit, right?
Right.
And so like what's funny is I'm gonna tell you this story. So I'm gonna share my screen. So but there's this property. So this property right here. I don't know if you guys can see.
Wow.
This property, okay. Yeah. So this property, I found this deal when they first listed it. Okay. And a friend of mine, I was gonna like help him acquire this deal, and we were gonna get this thing done. We were like ready to lock it in, and it was listed at 75,000. And we were working together on this thing back in February. And what's really funny is the agent on this deal, okay, is the sister, I'll make sure I have this right, is the sister of my uncle's ex-wife.
What?
Yeah. And so what is even crazier is she has an assistant realtor on the deal who just got her license, and that's my cousin who I haven't talked to or seen in like 15 years. And like she's also on the, and I'm assuming that's because that was like, they were related at one point, because it's like that's her. Well, I guess technically that's her aunt, I think, because essentially, I'm pretty sure that the realtor's sister, that's her kid. I don't really know. My uncle's had so many different kids with so many different women. He's one of those guys, you know what I mean? He's like had so many different kids with so many different women. So I don't really know which of his kids are with what women, but it's one of those. It's one of those situations.
But they're all your cousins.
Yeah, they're all my cousins. Yeah, they're all my cousins. Yeah. So anyways, man, shit. My parents are definitely like watching this episode. They're like, so they're fucking dying right now. So like, funny enough, we get this deal. Like, that's who is involved on the transaction, right? So I call her up and I'm like, hey, it's Daniel. And I would like say my last name, and then she's like, oh, okay. She's like, are you related to like and I was like, yeah. I was like, like that is me. Like that's she's like, and then she like realizes, and she's like, oh shit. Okay. And then and she's like, yeah, like how are you? Like, like how's everything going? She's very nice. And then I was like, yeah, like I was telling her the situation. I was like, hey, I got a client of mine. He's interested in purchasing this house. We're wondering if we could get it. Like they had it listed for 75. I said, hey, we're wondering if we could get it for 60. She goes, like the owners came back, they want to do 65. And I was like, all right.
Tell Aunt Susie to stop playing games.
So I said, I was like, all right, 65. Because at first I thought like the house doesn't look like it needs that much work. Because I'm just looking at the pictures on here.
That's not a manufactured home, though. That's not a manufactured single family.
Standalone single family. So I was like, so we're like, okay, we think this is a good deal. Think it's, decent, whatever. Get him to go look at the house. Him and his wife pull up, go look at the house. She's not even there. My cousin is the one that's there. Now, I don't talk to my cousin. I don't talk to any of my cousins. So I haven't even talked to her about this deal. I don't know if she even knows it's my company that's involved in the transaction or whatever. But my friend, my client, pulls up with his wife to the house. And they said that my cousin was the one there. And that she was like she had like a blazer on that was like, that had like makeup stains on it or like whatever. It just looked like a total wreck. And I was like, yeah, it sounds about right. And then I guess she was hitting like her vape pen outside while she was at the showing. Yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds like her. I mean, I don't really know. I don't know her. I don't know what she's involved in now, but I was like, it sounds like her. So anyways, they walk inside. Dude, it's bad. It's really bad. The pictures are like very, very, very inaccurate. The pictures were taken before someone was living in there. And I guess somebody has been living in there recently. The owners live out of state. They live in Georgia, and they inherited the property. And I guess they have a renter in there who was renting it. But this person has just absolutely just wrecked, just destroyed the house, right? Like, just like it's got like animal feces everywhere. Like they said that there's just like garbage and this stuff just all over. Like there's and like the foundation is just like shit. Shot. You know what I mean? The foundation is just like, yeah, shot. And they're like this, no central AC. Like the central AC is broken. And if you actually notice, like on the listing, it actually says fucking central air. Anyways.
Oh man.
So, anyways, I had wrote her back afterwards because she thought that we were good, and I was like, hey, this is not going to work at the price that we agreed to. And I don't know. And I was like, have you been inside the house? And I don't think she has, because they said that my cousin wouldn't even go inside the house. And I was like, that she just told them, you're welcome to go in and look around. And I was like, oh, that's fucking red flag.
Never a good sign. Never a good sign.
I was like, I don't even think the main realtor who's on the thing has even gone inside and looked at the property. So she's like, I don't even think that's ever been like, that was ever on the thing. But as you can clearly see, we ended up kind of getting into a back and forth because she basically told me that I didn't know what I was talking about, all this stuff. Obviously you don't know what you're talking about. We're going to find a buyer for this. I've been doing this for such and such amount of years. I was like, yeah, well, I was like, I probably closed more transactions than you have, you know what I mean? In the short amount of time that I've been doing this versus the amount of time that you've been, in your job or whatever. And, I didn't really continue. I just told her, I said, well, I understand that you probably do know the local market recently well. I said, but I also want you to understand there's a difference between a realtor market and a investor market. And that, I understand the investor side of things very well. I said, because I've been doing this for, such amount of time, and I've closed, X amount of transactions, and we closed X amount of transactions nationwide. I'm not just doing this, job. Right. It's not just because I'm doing it in Miami. Because she brought something about Florida, like this isn't Miami or something like that.
Right. They always say that.
Yeah, right. They always like throw that in there. I'm like, it's not about Miami. I was like, I do this. We close transactions. I was like, actually, I've only actually ever probably closed 5 to 6 deals in Miami total ever. You know what I mean? Like it's probably the least amount of deals I've actually acquired. Was in my own market.
At that point, we're like, well, what can you tell me about the Texas market and the Wyoming market? Right?
Yeah.
Have you done a deal in North Dakota?
Right, exactly. I just was just like, but I just like ended it with that, and I was ready to like give her the full smoke, what I mean? And I remember like my mom was like sitting there, my mom was like, cause I remember like my friend or whatever was like, they were joking about it, like they were telling my mom about it, and my mom was like texting me, she's like, don't start some shit, you know what I mean? Don't bring this.
You got to see them at the barbecue next year.
Yeah, no. She's like, don't bring them, into like, we don't need to see them or hear anything back from them. So I was like,
it definitely takes an education, and I feel that I know that there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, and there's a lot of distraction, but I feel that uh, the realtors are underserved on education
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
because they can make so many freaking amazing deals happen, and they just don't because they don't understand, right?
Right. Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's
well, as you can see, it's. She told me what I didn't know what I was talking about, and that they
right.
were going to easily get a buyer at that price, and that it was accurately priced. And meanwhile, it's 5 months later, and they've dropped it by $35,000
Exactly.
from the
Yeah.
initial
Now
asking.
you get to offer them 10 grand.
Yeah, yeah, my buddy who like I was gonna helping him get the deal. Like he actually, I sent it to him. I said, look at this, because I've been monitoring of it obviously, and
Yeah.
he was like, man, he's like, you should offer him like
That's
$5,000.
it. That's it.
I was
I
like, well,
actually have I
it's
actually
not
have a
the owner's
deal.
fault. You know what I mean?
I actually have a deal in Richmond, Indiana for 5 grand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
I had somebody offer
Similar
me a
story
house in
too.
Arkansas for $500.
That's crazy. That's wild. To think for $500 you can get a house
Yeah.
somewhere in the
I
world.
don't know what you're getting out of that, but yeah, it's like
Nah,
it's something. It's a house.
you're getting
Anyway.
dust.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is
All
a
right.
good show. What do we got in the comments?
We have we didn't
Do we
really
have any?
we didn't get any questions today.
Oh,
I
good.
I submit I asked for questions today. We didn't really get any. We got the one guy was like asking me to talk about. He was asking me to talk about attorney states. We already covered
Attorney
that, so
states. Yeah.
we're good. So I'm
Okay.
gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go work out since I got to off to a slow start today. Dude, today's been rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to
Definitely.
get back on that routine. I started off Monday pretty good. Got up early, went to the gym,
Oh, that's good.
played pickleball in the afternoon. Played pickleball again today. Yeah, man.
I was playing putt putt last night down
Okay.
in
Okay.
Brickell. So I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, and then we just um, we were like just like staying up like last night, like just like watching TV, and which I don't normally do. So it's like but yeah, I don't know.
Got to get back on the grind, my man.
Yeah, well, I was like, for me, so I recently started seeing this girl who works in the ER. So
Be careful now.
so basically, so she has like stretches because she's an ER doctor, and she runs the emergency care facility. I won't say which hospital she's at because I'm not going to put my
Right. That's
public thing out there, but somewhere here in Miami, like a very important job. And so it's like she goes in like these stretches, you know what I mean, where she'll be like she'll work like basically all day for like 7
yeah.
days, whatever they decide, whatever she's scheduled for, and then it's like so like then we don't really get to like hang out or whatever. So
Yeah.
when I feel like I get that second or I get that time chance, then I'm like, okay, I want to try to squeeze that time because I can make my schedule flex around whatever it is that I need to, because I feel like I've set my life up in a way now where I can at least do that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Which makes sense. But
that's the only benefit. That's the only benefit of running your own stuff is like you get to you can flex your way around it, and it's like your phone is your office. So it's like for me, you know what I mean? It's like I don't have to be in a physical office. So for me, it's like I can show up and
I agree. I love creating, that lifestyle. My kids, I get to see my kids like a lot, obviously.
right.
So I'm not like whatever 12-hour shifts.
Working the 9 to
at the
5 and then
office.
like leaving them all
Yeah.
day at the house. Yeah.
And then on Saturday and Sunday, I'm so beat that I don't want to go nowhere. So I don't have that. You know what I mean? Like we literally left to Marco Island. I think it was Thursday or some shit like that, or Friday morning. We were gone. yeah, we were gone, came back. We could have came back on Monday if we wanted to. No real pressure, and everything with the power of
cell phone. Yeah,
everything is taken care of, man. So it's amazing. We're blessed, bro.
absolutely.
On that note, we're signing off.
Thank you guys for listening again. We are back now. We'll be back again next Monday. So if you guys want to join us again, make sure to always subscribe if you're not yet, and make sure to click that like button if you guys enjoyed the episode, and make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. We will see you guys next week. Peace.